It's game one between the Tampa Bay Lightning and the New York Rangers in the Eastern Conference Final. Gentlemen, all our coverage here on the fourth period is brought to you by BitBuy. Go to bitbuy.ca/TFP to get $50 when you open an account while terms and conditions apply. Aaron, I will start with you. When you look at this Tampa Bay Lightning team, yes, they went to 7 with Toronto, but they've been waiting and waiting and waiting. And now they finally get their matchup with the New York Rangers. How big of a test is the Rangers for the two-time defending Stanley Cup champions?
It'll be a huge test, but here's the key right now. As we talk about these two teams, and I didn't pick either of them, I talked to my buddy who's a New York Jets fan, and he sent this on. So just in case I don't nail this one, I'm ready. For the Tampa Bay Lightning, this is absolutely something they have to concern themselves with, right? The rust and kicking it off the skates that you can't replicate in practice the level of intensity and the level of focus required to be in the playoffs. Now, flip that. This is a team that's back-to-back champions. They played a ton of hockey over the last year and a half, 2 years. This might be exactly what they needed. So it'll be interesting to see the first 10 minutes of how Tampa starts. Do they get up that level of intensity? Can they get invested in this series quickly for the New York Rangers, who have just come off just a whitewashing in the final game against the Carolina Hurricanes?
Yeah, from the Rangers standpoint, guys, look, they closed the show the way you want to close the series. They finished at the net, their stars scored, and their goaltender was fantastic. But now, and I know Rangers fans don't want to hear this, but the goaltender they face is not Louis Domingue. It's not Tristan Jarry with a broken foot. It's not Antti Ranta. It's not a Russian rookie. This is the best goal. And I know the kid's going to win the Vezina in Shesterkin, but this is the best goaltender in the league right now, without question. This is a team that, remember, they gave up 3 goals to the highest-scoring team in the league last round. And they won the series without a game-winning goal from Kucherov, from Stamkos, or Hedman. But you're playing at Madison Square Garden the first 2 games. The building's going to be upside down. You have momentum, and you have your stars playing well. So to me, I think the Rangers have a legitimate puncher's chance to win the series.
And the Rangers absolutely have a potent power play. They found themselves against Carolina. You learned from Carolina's perspective, you cannot be undisciplined against this team. So they're playing with house money. Like this, they've been playing the underdog role for a very long time. They've embraced it. Gallant's embraced it. The team's embraced it. This should be a very good series and tough to predict.
Aaron, Dennis just mentioned the best goalie in the league this season, but going up against, on the other side for the Tampa Bay Lightning, a really good defense and probably the best goalie in the playoffs the last 2 years, and that's Andrei Vasilevskiy.
Well, you have known entity in Tampa, right? A guy that basically gives up no goals in Game 7s. That's his mantra. That's who he is. He's just all world. He's the best goalie in the National Hockey League anywhere, period. So Shesterkin's come in, and he kind of found himself through the Pittsburgh series. He got in against Carolina, and I would tell you, I think part of the reason why New York just made their way through with Carolina was because they had a high level of confidence in the goaltending. He's going to win the Vezina Trophy. He should, at least. But he's still not the guy that has that pedigree, the experience of being in the playoffs, getting to the third round, the war of attrition, feeling tired, having to get your level of focus in between the net. And he also does not have in front of him, that's Shesterkin, he doesn't have Hedman, doesn't have McDonough, he doesn't have Sergachev. All these guys that make life so much easier on a goalie, the 3-headed monster that has done such a great job over past playoffs.
You know, for the New York Rangers, there's a lot of guys that are new to this and in that situation and not really having so much of that playoff or championship experience. Yes, I know Ryan Reeves has been there, but they didn't win. But how easy, Aaron, for a player is it to just turn on that switch if you're the Tampa Bay Lightning?
To get ready for a series all of a sudden and to watch the other teams. Listen, you're not kidding anybody by saying you stepped away from the game of hockey. You watched every single game. You started envisioning what was going to happen, who your opponent was, what you do in certain situations. I imagine Tampa, with Cooper at the helm, and he's kind of an inspirational coach, has got every single possibility pulled out in terms of game and practice, replicating things, getting guys maybe in hotels, whatever he's going to do to get them ready to get back to that level they were at against Florida. The positive is, you basically dismantled the President's Trophy champion, right? So you should feel a high level of confidence. The rest should help you. But again, like I said, going back to turning it on, it's going to be a wait and see. Teams, you can't just get yourself up to speed when you decide to flick a switch in the playoffs.
And one final one for me, Dennis. When you look at the coaching, Aaron just mentioned John Cooper, but what about the job that Gerard Gallant has done with this New York Rangers group to get them to the Eastern Conference Final this season?
It's a buy-in, and now he has more depth, and not for nothing, but credit Chris Drury for bringing in more depth at the deadline. This is a very different team than it was in January and February with Andrew Kopp, who's been fantastic, with Tyler Mott, your buddy from Vancouver. Like this, even Justin Braun. So to me, but here's the difference. The Rangers are going to have to bear down on their chances because remember, they got outchanced in the Carolina series. But Carolina doesn't have the elite finishing talent that Tampa does. So the Rangers are going to have to be more opportunistic in this round. They're going to have to finish when they have the opportunities because I think they're going to lose, and Aaron can bear this out. They're going to lose the puck possession battle, but they're going to have to finish at the net, and it's a very different goaltender they're going to finish. But again, they're feeling it. They've got past 2 rounds, and they have a puncher's chance to win the series.
Gentlemen, it's the Rangers, and it's the Tampa Bay Lightning, and it's Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Final a little bit later on tonight.